PyroKnights. In today's video, we're going back to a bit of my roots, and we're going to be talking about Japan and everything that is wrong with it, apparently, because Japan is everything wrong with society. This is a crazy video. This is a crazy statement. I am kind of curious as to why Moon thinks this, because again, I'm a weeb. I like Japan, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've been to Japan a lot. I've traveled there like what, 4 times. I think it was 3 times. Eventually I want to live there on a working holiday visa if I can, maybe even do a semester of university down there. But like, again, that is like my thing. And don't worry, Pokemon videos coming back around. I just wanted to try something a little new, something a little bit of classic Shinki. And because I like Japan, and I'm not only a Pokemon guy. But with that being said, though, chat, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe. But before we get into it, as always, the link to the original is in the description below. And if you don't want me yapping and giving my thoughts on this, and you just want to watch the original content itself, links, again, are down below. You can go check Moon out there. But with that being said, let us get into the action.
Tokyo destined for Kyushu, the southernmost island in Japan, one of several isolated locations where hundreds of Japanese people flee at night. Around 100,000 people disappear in Japan every year, but these are not people who have gone missing in suspicious circumstances.
This kind of video.
Instead, they're part of Juhatsu, which literally translates as evaporated or evaporated people. People who voluntarily escape.
Is it Joe? I'm not sure if it's Joe. I mean, I'm trying to remember how it's
what little
said.
they can carry, leaving no
I've been studying in a long
address,
time.
just simply
My bad, really.
This isn't just a handful of desperate individuals. We're talking about the equivalent of a small city
But that's
of people
actually crazy.
choosing to
What?
delete themselves from existence every single year.
I see where this is
Some
going.
even hire specialist night-moving services that help them relocate under cover of darkness to
Never
avoid
mind. I don't know
detection.
where
Some
it's
flee
going.
to the periphery. Others find themselves in very poor districts like Kamagasaki and Osaka, otherwise known as the Skid Row of Japan, which have become like slums. Something most people don't associate
slums.
with
I was like, what the fuck, Skid Row?
high tech and ultra clean. Some report not seeing their families for some 40 years. Their wives and parents saying they just left with the clothes they had on. The Juhatsu often flee death or brutal job situations with low pay and grueling hours. Others are fleeing domestic abuse, partly driven by society's obsession with shame and the idea that family issues should remain private at all costs. And this is far from the only disturbing phenomenon that brings us inside modern Japan. A society in terminal decline. Something that's uniquely
This is
Japanese,
kind of cool.
but
Okay, this
also
feels
a
different.
deeply
I'll
horrifying
react to
warning
this
for
thing.
where the
These
rest
things.
of the West is headed. Japan is quite literally everything wrong with society, because some people in modern Japan don't just have the courage to run away like the Juhatsu. They choose a different way to retreat from society,
but it might be
themselves to a single room and rarely contacting the outside world. This is the bedroom of a hikikomori, one of Japan's one.
Okay, so we're gonna talk about hikikomori. Okay, again, I have to say it like that because otherwise I can't say hikikomori. Well, I guess I can, but it's really hard for me to say that word because of all the similar sounding letters. But like, anyways, hikikomori, we all know like the shut-ins that don't come out of the room for like 50 years or something, and they stay inside and they struggle socializing. Oh wait, is that me? No. I think it was me, but definitely hikikomori is something that's actually insane. I think they're slowly working it out, but at the end of the day, that is something that was discovered in Japan, and now they're seeing this phenomenon happen, especially since the pandemic in other countries, and just people like withdrawing from society and just staying at home, I guess, not living, which again was probably me.
5 million social recluses who have voluntarily withdrawn from society. The windows are covered with thick blackout curtains.
I wouldn't go that far.
Any trace of natural light. Empty convenience store bento boxes are stacked in towers beside a kitchen sink that hasn't been used in months.
That's not true. Okay, it's like there's similarities.
Thousands of dollars next to a bucket used as a makeshift toilet.
Why am I trying to
leaving the room? You might think this kind of setup belongs to a teenager, but many hikikomori are middle-aged men who have barely left their homes in years. Some live in a room in their parents' house, a situation known in Japan as the 80-50 problem. It involves elderly parents support their middle-aged children. There are hundreds of thousands of these arrangements across Japan.
We're learning today,
closed doors in ordinary suburban houses. Sound familiar? In America, more 25 to 35-year-olds now live with their parents than ever, the highest rate since the Great Depression. It's the same in the UK, Australia, and New Zealand, and becoming more common in most European countries, where kids always used to just leave their home as teens. Instead, we just call this a cost of living crisis, but Japan shows us where this leads when it becomes permanent. Really, they're just a few years ahead of the West. The parent or parent, nearly always a single mother, are forced to accept the situation despite it being shame
I
on
don't
the
like it.
family.
I don't like
For
it.
those
I
who
don't
want
like
to
it.
escape or seal themselves off from the world, there's a
I don't
more
like AI.
permanent exit route. Japan's unaliving rate has declined in recent years, but is still exceptionally high for a developed country.
That
But what's
shouldn't
strange
even be a
about it
thing,
really
man.
isn't the numbers, it's how society views it. In most Western countries, unaliving oneself carries heavy moral stigma. In Japan, not so much.
I don't know, I'm
As many
smiling.
still
I'm actually
believe it's
smiling.
better to die than live in disgrace, an ancient mindset dating back to the samurai era that hasn't completely disappeared. During the 2008 financial crisis, rates soared as people viewed it as taking
I'm glad I was only
responsibility
7
for
then,
their
by the way. I
failures.
really
Train
am.
delays due to human
Even though we're
incidents are so
in a
common
similar
in Tokyo
spot, I
and other
think.
cities that train operators are coming up with some
I'm not
creative
really sure, though.
solutions, like installing blue mood lighting at metro stations and playing catchy melodies to distract people from their thoughts. These
that why?
forms of extreme escape are all
I like
just
the
the tip
melodies,
of a
though.
much bigger iceberg. They tell us about something happening on a much wider scale across Japan. Millions of
there.
Japanese
When I hear them,
people,
each side
especially
headphones
the
on.
younger generations, are retreating from social life. And this all helps explain why the country is on the brink of a huge demographic collapse.
That's the
fertility
huge
rate
topic
has
for
crashed to
Japan
just
these days.
1.15,
Which is okay. I do want to
meaning
talk
the
about
average
it.
Japanese
Yeah,
woman
maybe I
will
won't,
barely
you
have
know.
one child in her lifetime. In Tokyo, where almost everyone
but I
lives,
think that's a
it's
huge
even
part of this
worse,
video.
with the fertility rate falling below 1 for 2 consecutive years. For perspective,
Insane.
you need a fertility rate of just 2.1 to maintain.
Okay, I do want to. This is happening around the world, guys. This is not just a Japan issue, but I think Japan is ahead of the curve, and it's eventually gonna be just a whole global problem. I mean, I think it already is, but it's definitely more popular because of how steep and like how much of a problem it already is in Japan, and I think over here in Canada and over here or in the West, right, we're gonna have this same issue, and it's just oh boy, it's gonna happen because of how expensive everything's getting, and how like sometimes most people are gonna be like, hey, maybe having a kid is just not worth the price because we can barely afford to live. That's the reality of things. Or a more fun way to say it, you don't want to bring your child into a world or to a household that can't provide. So like that is just like, yeah, that's a big problem. But I think in a lot of like Japan's case, for like I've watched a lot of videos on this, is like they're saying they just they're too busy working. That's also a big issue. Like you gotta earn money to live, and you gotta work to earn money. Yeah, in Japan you're working long hours, so there's no time, and the only time you have left is like you wanna just hang out. You're not gonna want to go and date people. Like you want to go hang out with your friends like already, right? But anyway, yeah, I just kind of wanted to talk about it a bit because like it's interesting, but it's gonna happen across the world. It's a problem that's gonna affect everybody soon enough. I feel like we should probably start preparing because yeah, or like lower the fucking prices, please. God damn.
Maintain your population. At this rate, Japan's population could more than halve in less than 100 years. It's actually really difficult to get your head around what this means. Just imagine the town or city where you're living in right now and cut half of everyone out of the picture. We're talking ghost towns, hospitals without staff,
oh my
trains and
god, I
buses
wish I
without drivers.
I don't want to pause again because I wish I waited for a couple seconds to pause because this could have been part of my initial rant. But like I've seen these and it's insane how many ghost towns there are in Japan. Like I've seen videos like people going to ghost towns and just like having like relics of the past just be lost to time, and it's weird to see it because like when you imagine it, it's like I get the same feeling when I look at old photos and see like a different time period and like see different like place. It just feels eerie because like it should be like it's not like that anymore. It's honestly insane. And there's like this one town, right? I think I've seen it around where like there's like almost a dolls placed around as like a memory of people or something. I could be wrong. I think that's what it was. Like scarecrows, something like that. Yeah, it's insane how eerie it is. Cause like sure it's mainly the countryside because everyone's going to Tokyo and like Osaka and like the big cities, right? I think as this problem goes on, as people are not having children, and more people are dying, I think it's going to slowly encroach and it's going to be more or less like you're going to be in the main city and the rural side is going to be the fucking poorest. You know, we're gonna have like one main hub and not like the whole country. Do I think it'll ever get that bad? No. But is it a fun thought to think about? I mean, not fun, but like it's interesting because like that could happen as time moves, right? I feel like we're slowly losing these like rural towns. Maybe we should probably, you know, work something out. I mean, it's a hard problem to fix because you can't just like go like, hey, have children. You can't do that, right? But yeah, I don't know how you do that.
Birth rates are definitely a global issue, dropping below replacement levels across Europe and the US. You'll struggle to find a Western country where fertility hasn't hit record lows. Across the UK and most of Europe, women are just having one child at most.
Because it's fucking expensive!
Like this, by 2100,
fucking expensive!
6 countries in the world are expected to have fertility rates above replacement levels. We're all sliding
But why
down
is
that
Japan the
same
worst of the
demographic
society or
cliff.
whatever?
In Japan, the
title?
impacts are everywhere. There are an insane 9 million properties sitting empty across the country right now, and thousands of schools are being forced to close, which not only concentrates people in the cramped cities, but
the more I hear about it,
results
the
in
more
huge
sad I
job
get.
losses.
I love the
truth
country.
is, this demographic death spiral is so bad that people aren't even trying to find partners anymore. In fact, nearly 30% of unmarried Japanese adults have never been in a single relationship. Compare this to America, where only 60% of young men are now single, double the rate for women.
63%. I mean, I'm in Canada, so not really. Yeah, it means different states or different state. Different country.
Dating apps are also flooded with people who never actually want to meet.
Boy,
in fact,
Canadian
it's even hard to find a plain normal photo of anyone at all. And when dates do happen in real life, cultural conventions tend to get in the way for both Japanese people and outsiders. Casual meeting is seen as too forward. Formal dating is seen as too serious. There are so many barriers, and the shame of failure is extreme on top, which only pushes people towards a more dystopian virtual form of dating driven by virtual relationships.
It's the fucking anime, man, the anime. The anime boys and anime women.
Next level.
And AI.
The Gatebox device offers a holographic companion named Azuma Hikari.
Japan,
who lives in a glass
you're going too far. You're going too far, Japan.
She'll text you throughout the
You're going
day,
too far.
controls your smart home devices, and provides a
Japan's going too far. Look at this. Ah, if you can actually have one, imagine you put your VTuber in here. Yeah, no. I bet you could. Like you can have like an A. No, that's bad. Don't do that. But like at the same time, that's crazy. You can just have your little anime woman right there, like whammon, dude. Like what the hell? You're releasing these products, Japan, and like it's just people are gonna be okay with these little things instead of having an actual partner. Which again, right now you would need people to want to have a partner, and this ain't helping that issue. I mean, it's helping some people with their own issues because, like, you know, you get the little anime girl. It's kind of cool. Okay. I mean, would I do that? No, because I'm not usually a guy to buy decorations and stuff. I like to buy things I can use with my hands, right? I like to buy like Pokemon cards. Well, I don't use those. I just buy them because Anyways.
Emotional support.
By the way, I'm into Pokemon cards now.
Since its release in 2016, the company has issued 4,000 marriage certificates to men who have wed their digital
But luckily, I'm too broke to buy them.
While the West faces a dating crisis, Japan just sits
loneliest generation.
Gen Z's. The sex industry there isn't only about hooking up; it's about buying human connection. Host and hostesses.
Do they actually have? I mean, actually they do. Yeah.
Listen
What
to
the
your
fuck?
date, laugh at your terrible jokes.
I could never do that. I'm too self-aware for that shit.
You want to talk about. As for Japanese women, there's this idea called
I'm too self-aware for
mentality. Women like Christmas cakes become undesirable after the 25th.
That's not actually still a thing, right?
Start having babies
That can't
before
be.
26, or you're considered damaged goods.
I don't want to keep pausing. You saying stuff I want to talk about. Stop. Space this shit out, please, so I can watch the video. Come on, like I'm obviously my man, so like I have no idea how that works, but like, and I'm also Canadian, so again that's different. Is that actually still a thing? Like, do they still fall off after 25? I don't think that's a thing anymore for this generation. I feel right, like certainly not. Like, surely I feel like that would be something that's been abolished at this point. I feel like I've seen enough people talk about this saying that it's not the case anymore, but if it is still a thing, that's actually crazy because like 25 is still young as I say as a fresh 24-year-old approaching 25. Once you're 30, you're cooked, you know what I'm saying? Once you're 30, you might as well be in the grave, okay? Anyway.
You just need to work full-time because single incomes don't cut it anymore. The
Don't
beauty standards that
call
enforce
this
this are absolutely
to me when I'm 30, by the way. I don't want to hear it.
So normal that parents give it as a high school graduation gift. There are videos of girls as young as 9 being put through cosmetic procedures mostly to make them look more Western. Skin whitening products dominate every drugstore with names like Snow Angel and
I mean,
Pure
okay, I hate
Ivory.
plastic surgery
Having
in
plain
general.
skin
I
signals
just,
refined wealth
I don't know.
and marriage material.
I like
feel
authentic.
you're stuck in a
I don't
habit
like
you
fake.
don't even think about.
Even like,
Maybe
well,
it's
even
something
like,
you reach for
CS,
just for
that's a
moments
big
while
debate.
hanging out with friends or just out of boredom. I've been there. That's why I was excited to try Fume. And honestly,
I'm
it's
sorry,
been a game
man.
changer.
I'm
Fume
sorry, I
is
can't
sponsored
do it.
today's video isn't
Thanks
another
for your,
fake e-cig
but like the
nicotine
fumes,
product.
yeah,
It's
whatever. You
your
go check
habits.
out
This is
his
the
thing, I
perfect
guess.
first
Not my.
step. Go to tryfume.com/.
Yeah, I guess
Fume
do
or
that if you
scan the
want. I
QR
guess
code
I'm
on
not
screen to
sponsored, so
grab
whatever.
yours
But
today.
yeah,
You
yeah,
can get even
yeah.
weirder though. Japan has an entire industry based around renting friends, family members, or
Alex
co-workers.
Tanaka.
The
I like
famous German film and documentary maker Werner Herzog followed one of these companies called Family Romance, which employs 1,200 actors who can play any role you need. Some roles are never supposed to end. For example, the founder was hired by a mother to play the father of a 12-year-old girl for several years. One client who hired a wife and daughter seems happy with the company. They have
Years?
regular meals together, creating the illusion of family life.
At
as
that
someone
point-
whose real family is
at that
gone.
point, you're just
Just
her
think
dad.
about this for a second. A grown man paying actors to pretend to be his family.
at that point, you're just
eating
her dad.
dinner with them night after night, knowing it's all fake but preferring it to the alternative, which is eating alone. It shows the extremes Japan has resorted to fix something people can relate to everywhere. It all feels profoundly Japanese, yet so very recognizable. Compare that to the West, where we're doing the exact
Is it
same
Has Been
things,
Hotel?
but with
Oh my
extra
God.
steps and often more guilt. Where we have parasocial relationships with online influencers, huge explosions and things like OnlyFans and campsites, where you can watch your favorite streamers sleep. It seems like we're all starting to buy the same product that Japan is, but we're just less direct about admitting it.
I mean, well, like,
So
you're
why
right,
has it
it's
come
pretty
to
bad.
this?
Yeah.
Why is Japan's extreme
I say
culture
it's a
destroying
streamer.
its youth and ultimately the entire country? Well, we can find some answers in Japan's notoriously brutal
It's not that bad.
workplace.
I
Japan's
don't think-
economic miracle, which started in the 60s and saw its economy grow by some 10% every year for over a decade, was built on a simple promise. Work hard, be loyal to your company, and you will be rewarded with a job for life, a decent salary, and social respect. However, this promise has been thoroughly broken in recent years. The American dream
Like
promised
every
the exact
promise
same thing.
the governments
Work
have
hard,
made.
get a degree, buy a house, support a family. Now you need multiple jobs to afford rent, let alone home
Uber Eats,
ownership.
fucking
The
plus your main
social
job,
contract
plus
is
your
breaking
side
down
job. Oh my
everywhere.
God.
To understand why,
Plus
you
your
have to go
business
back
plans.
to the 1980s when everyone thought
Plus your
Japan was
YouTube
going to
channel.
take over the world. Japanese companies were buying up Manhattan real estate and Hollywood studios. Business schools were teaching Japanese management techniques because they felt it would dominate everything. People like Steve Jobs marveled at Japan's product engineering.
It's funny, the group of people that do not use quality in their marketing are the Japanese. You never see them using quality in their marketing. It's only the American companies that do. And yet, if you
Okay.
ask people on the street which products have the best reputation for quality, they will tell you the Japanese products. Now, why is that?
I mean, they have
How
good
could that
service.
be? The answer is because customers don't form their opinions on quality from marketing. They don't form their opinions on
I guess, yeah,
quality
as
from
they
who
use them.
won the Deming Award or who won the Baldrige Award. They form their opinions on quality from their own experience with the products or the services.
The country seemed unstoppable. But then, the bubble burst in 1991, and Japan entered what economists called the lost decade.
Yeah,
30 years of
Japan
economic
fell off
stagnation
hard.
that continues to this day. Property values
But
collapsed.
they're
the
still my
banks
favorite
failed,
country.
companies started
Yay,
mass
even though they don't like us
layoffs.
right now.
But instead of adapting, Japan doubled down. The corporate hierarchy remained, the work culture just intensified to make up the difference. Walk through Shimbashi Station at 2 a.m. today, and it's very common to see
I don't
men
think
in
I've-
suits
no, I've
strewn
definitely- I've
across
been
the
on
roads and
Shimbashi.
sidewalks. These are Japan's salarymen, office workers who've
there's
collapsed on the
like never a
street,
reason to go
sometimes
to
from
Shimbashi.
exhaustion,
Oh, wow.
sometimes from alcohol, often a mixture of the two. Until everyone
But
had
you
a
do people-
camera on their
you
phone,
do see people
most
sleeping
probably
outside the
wouldn't
train
have
station
imagined
now.
the carnage brought upon Japan's richest districts at night. But that's exactly what it looks like, with bodies slumped on the roadside, vomit on the
yeah.
floors, police dragging people off the metro platforms, and rubbish piled up and overflowing out of the bins. In
Usually
some
it's
cases,
fine,
these
but that you
salarymen
do see
will
it
be returning
occasionally
from
when you walk
non-income.
around.
Mandatory corporate drinking
Usually the
sessions that
cleanliness is
aren't
good
really
for the
optional
streets.
if you want to keep your job. The rules are bizarre and deeply hierarchical.
From what I remember,
Junior
anyway.
employees must constantly refill their seniors' glasses but never pour their own drinks. You're expected to match your boss drink for drink, even if he's twice your
Bar
size
for
and
bar.
has been doing this for decades. Even before your superior is considered deeply
Nah, bro,
insulting.
and you have to go into
Some
work
stay
the
out
next
all
day?
night
Hell
until the
fucking
first
nah,
train
chief.
starts running again at 5 a.m. It's not uncommon to head into clinics for an IV drip of electrolytes and nutrients to somehow
I
function
don't know
at
if I
work
can
the
keep
next
up.
day. Look at this one, which advertises itself for those in Tokyo
I've
seeking
seen
quick
those.
recovery after social drinking events. those with fatigue and
I don't want 'em,
dehydration
though.
after alcohol consumption. Or this one, recommended for those who have consumed too much alcohol. Travelers have been heading to 7-Eleven shops
like, I
and
see them,
pointing out
I
the
just don't even
huge
bother.
selection of colorful bottles the Japanese have
I'll
invented
take my
to
punishment,
cure
you know.
hangovers. But that's sometimes not enough, because for those who can't handle it, there's always karoshi, literally meaning death from overwork. Thousands of families
I know
file
karoshi.
compensation claims annually for people dying from their jobs, though the real number is much higher.
State broadcaster NHK revealed one of its reporters,
Again, this shouldn't be a thing either.
31-year-old Miwa Sato, had died from heart failure after working near 14-hour days. It took 4 years for NHK to announce Sato's death. Parents accused the network of a cover-up.
The reality is that in Japan, workers are working ridiculous hours.
American labor activist
It
Louis
is, like,
Cutler
8
says
hours
such
is already a
sacrifice
lot,
is seen as a
and
virtue here.
having to go
There's a
14?
strong cultural norm that you have to devote everything to the company.
But
and
I don't know,
you're
like,
a
again,
corporate warrior, and I think that's what really pushes people over the edge.
We might call it burnout, but the reality is that most people in the West don't actually work, much less than the Japanese anymore, and we're catching up rapidly. And at least the Japanese have
I
more
think
public
they're like,
and
what,
legal
12 hours?
holidays than Americans, with 16
11
national
hours,
holidays
11
compared to
okay.
America's 12 federal holidays. And the US is still
Canada's
one of the
forgotten
only
again.
industrialized nations with no statutory minimum requirements
Canada,
for paid vacation
why?
days,
Oh,
while
Canada.
Japan guarantees up to 20
wanna
annual
be
leave days
included.
by law depending on years of service. So maybe the health problems we're seeing from overwork
Or
in
I guess
Japan
we
are
don't wanna
something
be
we
included
can
here.
look forward to
Actually,
down the
yeah.
line too. However, Japan has always had a really extreme work culture where dedication is valued and rejecting it is viewed as impolite. Progress comes from sacrifice, and some companies go too far by deliberately exploiting these values. They're called black companies, which are technically
The
legal
black
but
companies.
engage in business practices that would be illegal elsewhere in the world. One former
Fucking
employee decided
smite
to document
them.
his experience working for one of these companies, filming
Smite
his daily
them.
routine and explaining the system
Burn
from
him to the ground.
inside.
Well, don't do
The
that.
footage
But,
follows
like,
him through a typical day.
report
leaving
them.
for work before dawn,
Mass in
working a
mass.
12-hour shift, eating dinner alone while his
Riots,
family sleeps.
Don't do it. Not exciting rights. Sorry to joke about that kind of thing. I probably shouldn't joke about that kind of thing.
What do you think kids think when they become aware of all of this? What's their rational response? Don't engage with any of it. Over 300,000 Japanese students have simply stopped attending school. They've
Oh,
decided
man.
the entire system is just pointless. Some gather at Tokyo
Yeah.
Plaza where
I
there's
mean-
hundreds of kids essentially homeless and living in mango cafes. And you can see them talking to salarymen late at night. Again, people probably don't think of truancy when they think of Japan,
Oh my-
a country known for its discipline. One observer walking
Okay,
through the
now
area
that's-
documented what he found.
Right there. You
I
see
thought that was like a manga trope.
Some of
That's
them.
actually.
they're like sleeping on the floor.
Kids sleeping rough. Like there's like a girl dressed up as a maid there just hanging out on the floor. They're homeless kids who have come
No
from the
way,
countryside.
man.
Okay.
And they're just looking for the companies. Like friends.
Oh my
I could say like 14 to 18.
Man,
could
this,
be- you
that's
could be
actually
any
that sucks
age,
to
doesn't
see.
matter.
It
It's
really
almost like
is,
a
man. It really
Akihabara.
does
Anyone
suck to
can
see.
be accepted in this town. So you can be homeless, you can be hooker, you can be a gambler, you can be a yakuza, doesn't matter. You can be here.
When children or adults turn to homelessness or otherwise reject traditional Japanese society, it's irreversible. The
Yeah.
shame is too much for the family to handle and they shut their doors, and there's often no way back. Kids who aren't on the streets often disappear into virtual worlds. Gaming addiction affects
Yeah.
only 20% of Japanese youth, but calling it
It sucks,
addiction
man.
misses the point. These kids know that their digital achievements are safer than the real ones. The isekai anime genre has exploded. roughly
This is
translating
why.
as
This is
born in
why,
another
and that's why it's so
world.
popular.
These are
That's
stories
being
about
made.
ordinary people
And I've been
transported to
here
fantasy
before.
worlds where they
And I
actually
still
matter.
probably
It's a
am.
subtle difference to normal fantasy, as the theme here is escaping to somewhere else where you know you have a chance. Compare that
Escapism is
to
just-
real life,
yeah.
where you can follow every rule perfectly and still end up collapsed on a sidewalk from exhaustion, with no kids,
Yeah.
no family, and no real purpose. While other countries try to solve or deny their dysfunction, they turn theirs into an art form, creating manga, anime, and video games that don't just depict social isolation and despair, but celebrate and monetize it. What's so fascinating when you walk around parts of Japan is how the physical environment seems to mirror all of this social dysfunction. Take the sheer density of vending machines, for instance.
There's a lot of
Japan
vending
has
machines.
5 million of them. That's
A lot
one
of them.
for every 25 people. You can buy hot coffee,
I barely
cold beer, fresh
used them,
flowers
though,
for
when I was
birthdays
there,
and
actually.
funerals, even
Only when it was, like,
entire
really hot.
meals without ever having to speak to anyone. We're already getting there in our own way though. With self-service checkouts everywhere,
I hate
Uber Eats
self-service
and groceries
checkouts,
delivered
brother.
to your doorstep, and fewer places to
But
actually
Uber
go
Eats
out
and everything else is cool, but they
socialize. People
overcharge
are working
big
remotely more
time,
than ever.
and
Nearly half
they don't
of
get enough money to
Americans
the
live day
drivers.
to day without seeing anyone face to face.
And yet Japan is still worse than everywhere else.
The entire place is built to just be alone, to eat by yourself, to do all activities by
Okay.
yourself. The
This part, actually, no way.
idol
We'll just watch
industry
the rest.
is
It's
another
almost
which
over.
tells us about how humans have become commodities.
But I don't want to talk about this.
People are obsessed with them, and the industry preys on it. For one group called AKB48,
You can't go anywhere
the more
without hearing
records
about them.
fans purchase, the more opportunities they have to shake hands with the band members. One fan bought 3,000 CDs in support of his favorite act, going into
I
debt
can't-
in the
I
process
can't
just
believe
to get
that.
more
It's
chances
insane.
at these brief encounters. Over 10,000 teenage girls are
Idol
idols and
culture, man.
counting.
I mean,
The
it's. I
underground
guess
scene
it's
gets
tied to
even more
VTubers too.
intense. Underground idols appear at shady venues, sometimes for small audiences, and face insane work commitments. Dating bans are enforced because they're necessary for idols to win the support of male fans. They work whenever their bosses need them to,
yeah.
do whatever they want, and are often binded by contracts they cannot break. When you zoom out, you see the symptoms are just everywhere. Young adults are living with parents because rent consume their futures. People find themselves swiping through dating apps for months without ever actually meeting anyone. Jobs grind people down and barely cover their basic expenses. Japan's dystopian solutions might be more creative and extreme, as that's in their cultural DNA, but in some way there's still solutions. While walking out of a job or cutting ties with family is an extremely difficult thing for most, for some it's just pragmatic, it's survival. It's why Japan is just a beta test for our coming future dystopia. It isn't some exotic warning from the future,
honestly,
it's Tuesday in Tokyo, and it might be coming to a city near you.
Yeah, it's just a warning sign. This is Japan is everything wrong with society, and honestly, he paints a pretty bleak picture. And honestly, I kind of agree. I mean, okay, well, the title itself is kind of crazy. I mean, it's meant to drive clicks. And a lot of this stuff is coming to the West. A lot of this, I mean, I don't think everything is like, you know, I don't think the black companies. I mean, I'm sure there's black companies in the U.S. and in Canada and everything, right? Definitely, we are all like getting more separate, and like we're less together than we were before. With like technology and all that, and of course like the birth rate's all falling, and everywhere the birth rate's falling. In Japan is just the first to fall at this point, and I could be wrong about that, but that's just like the first country I've heard about birth rate falling, and now it's starting happening around the world, and it's honestly a scary thought because soon enough there won't be enough young people, and like I for one have no intention of having kids, at all. If I can manage to even find a partner. But like, yeah, no, like that is not something that I want to do because it just doesn't seem worth it. You know, like, I don't know. It's a lot of money. And with like a lot of money I don't have, or I probably won't have, like, because again, everything's getting more expensive. But one thing I wanted to mention though, at the end of this video, a minute before we ended, was how everything is made individually. And that's why I like the country as well. You can do almost anything on your own. And that's a guy who struggles to reach out and text people and just like initiate contact with others. Doing stuff alone is very, you know, it's relaxing. It's great. But I definitely don't advocate for that, but I do like that it's there. I think the option should be there. But definitely we should probably encourage people to interact with each other more often, especially nowadays that it's going down, and we're seeing like interaction go down, and people withdraw a lot more from society, and like that's not the play, brother. I know that from experience. But regardless, thanks for watching, guys. I know I wanted to watch this because one, I love Japan, I love the country, and I still, despite everything this video says about it and the society as a whole, still want to try living there, at least for like the working holiday cycle, maybe longer, if it's in the cards for me. But that is all to be seen, and I might react to do more Japan content because that's like the other half of my For You page, or I guess my suggestions tab. But Pokemon is not going anywhere. But I do want to slowly, like, you know, do more stuff outside of Pokemon as well, and also because views are kind of done. You know, like at this point, we branch out. But I do have another video that's not a Pokemon one this week. It's a non-Pokemon week, palette cleanser. But we're coming back with more Pokemon next week. But regardless, though, thanks for watching, chat. Please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. I appreciate you all. We're almost at 1K. We need 55 more subs to 1K. We're so fucking close, man. So I beg of you, if you enjoyed this video and Please do like, subscribe. But if you have anything you have, like, what do you guys think of all this? Tell me in the comments below. I might react to more Dogen stuff. So if you want more Japan content, like and subscribe. Okay, bye guys.